Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. On this week's episode, I'm joined by Brianne Bonner, who will tell us all about her improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games and most importantly, learn how she improved her life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Lee Evans. And tonight, I am joined by the incredibly talented medical professional, improviser, stand-up comedian, Brianne Bonner. Welcome to the show, Brianne. How you doing tonight?
Thank you, Michael. I'm good. Yeah.
Doing good?
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. Matt recommended me to you, and I'm so excited to have you on. I was taking a look at a couple clips from your stand-up you had posted online. You're very funny. I really like the Marlboro Zest joke. That's just, oh man, it's gross, but it's good.
It's true. It's all true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Do you think that affected the flavor of the food at all? Could you notice it?
I noticed a difference when I started making those recipes and didn't have it. No, I don't know.
I said something's missing here.
I don't know. We joke. We always joked with my mom about it. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was true. So
it changes the flavor.
All true.
Yeah, it's all true. I mean, those are the best stories, I think, when it's just like, hey, this is my experience. And now that I'm older, I realize this was, interesting.
Yeah,
I want to share about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, those make the best bits, I think, to share on stage. So I'm looking at this sign here, Brianne, and I'm wondering, what's your relationship to this place?
I started taking classes in January, just in January of this year.
All right.
Nice. And I'm getting addicted.
Good.
I'm totally addicted. I absolutely love it. I started improv because I needed to I wanted to be more spontaneous with my stand-up.
Yeah.
I really had a lot of stage fright when I started stand-up. And I felt that improv could possibly help me with just being more spontaneous, being more relaxed, and it has definitely helped. But now, I don't know which I love better.
Ooh,
so, yeah.
Conflicts.
Yeah, because I didn't realize how, I came in for a purpose.
Yeah.
And now it's completely changed. Completely changed. I don't know if it's completely changed or I just kind of love it just as much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you're a little torn. You're like, I found a new passion while trying to sharpen myself for my other passion.
Yeah.
I think that's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get into your internal struggle a little more once we get to our interview. But before we do, Brian, we got to play some three things.
Okay.
Yeah. So have you played three things before?
No.
Okay. So I'll give you a category, and as fast as you can off the top of your head, you're just going to list three things from that category. Don't worry. A couple of these, they'll be easy. They'll be layups. You'll be like, oh, I know. That's about me. I know that. All right. So here we go. You ready? Mm-hmm. These are three things. First category. Types of chip.
Chips. Potato chips.
1.
Tortilla chips.
2.
Chocolate.
3. Very nice. Creative. I like that. Next category. Things that you should zest on food besides cigarettes.
You mean what to use for zest?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a better wording.
As you know, because you saw it, I'm not a fan. So I guess lemon, lime,
1, 2,
orange.
3.
Yeah.
Wow, killed it.
Yeah.
All right, last category. Nurse vocabulary.
Appendectomy.
1.
Assessment.
2.
Pyxis.
3. These are three things. All right. Very nice. You made it through. Okay. We're gonna circle back on those categories. Chips, that was our fun category. Chocolate chips, I love that answer. It was very creative.
I should have picked that for number one because that is my favorite.
That's your favorite chip.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an outside the box answer, and I love it. I just love it because you hear chip, you're like, oh yeah, potato, tortilla, whatever you name a brand, Cheetos,
right?
But chocolate. Yeah, I can't criticize you for that.
Yeah, that is my very favorite.
They make the best cookies.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, they go on so many things: muffins, pancakes, waffles. Oh gosh,
yes.
yeah. They're really, that might be the best chip.
Bag.
Right out of the bag. Yeah, I have sitting at home right now on my counter. There's some dark chocolate chips, just sitting there. And, I'll visit them later tonight after this podcast. Okay. All right. That second category, as you mentioned, you don't like zest unless it's the Marlboro Red. But I had to bring it back. So how did that, I'm trying to think, how did you, or what was your process in kind of turning that into a stand-up bit, would you say? Was it just something that came to your mind? You're like, oh, this was something funny from being a kid. Yeah.
Well, I start out by talking about meal kits and how they're supposed to make your life easier.
Yeah, like HelloFresh, Blue Apron,
Right.
that kind of thing, right?
But there's so much. The meal kits that I used were vegan meal kits. I mean, I'm not vegan, but I love those meal kits.
Yeah.
And they always had it didn't make my life easier.
Oh.
It made my life like it took longer to cook the meals because there was so much, like I say in my thing, chopping and grating, and then over the top zesting. Like we're zesting at home while we're trying to get out fast. Like it just made me laugh because, and then it just kind of was I just had memories of like being at home as a kid. And my mom just was like churning out those meals. There was 4 of us, and she was just churning them out. And usually she kind of was a chain smoker, so she just always had that cigarette hanging out of her mouth, no matter what she was doing. Yeah. And so it just kind of came to me that I could, and it was a longer story. And stand up, you kind of like refine things as you do them over and over again. Yeah. You get tighter, and you kind of get rid of the junk, and so now I think that bit is even shorter than maybe when you saw the clip that you saw. But yeah, that's I have a lot of stories about growing up. Like that's kind of what I do. Yeah, a lot in my stand-up. Yeah. So
I think that's like something. What is unique about you, and something your growing up experience is different than everyone else's. Right.
Right.
There's things we can relate to, but only you alone went through it. Right. Experienced it.
Exactly.
So that makes for great material. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last category. Why do you think I asked you about nurse vocabulary?
Well, because I'm a nurse.
There it is.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's it right there.
I don't know.
So, okay. I want to break down those terms. So you said appendectomy.
Yeah.
I've had one of those. Have you had one of those? No. I'm not a fan. No. I mean, of all the surgeries, it's not that bad.
Right.
I would say there's a lot of worse ones.
Yes.
Yeah. It was like, it was laparoscopic, I think, for me. So, pretty minor. You get out of there the next day.
Right.
Yeah. And then.
And you were okay?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm here now.
Yeah. Good.
Years later. The second one, assessment. Is that just the first thing you do when you meet with a patient? You do you get their numbers and everything? Okay.
That's pretty common in all nursing. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. It made me think of a mechanic for some reason. But that's kind of what... the nurse does that.
You have to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kind of check your numbers, what's your mileage, all that sort of thing. Right. It's the same thing.
What's your mileage?
Yeah. That's blood pressure, cholesterol, you're getting all those numbers. These numbers are on the brain. I had a blood test this morning, so I'm just like, I'm buzzing right now. Yeah. Voluntary. Just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten the results yet.
Well, I hope you're okay.
I think I will be.
You look great.
I appreciate that, but you don't know.
I'm assessing you.
Surface level assessment. Thank you. That's a vote of confidence. I'll take it. My last question, the third term you mentioned, I can't remember it because there's a word I never heard. Pyxis. What is that?
That is like the medication kind of system cart where It's a computerized system. I actually never used one because I kind of got out of patient care a while ago, and now I do other work that I still need a nursing license for. It's a computerized medication dispensing system. That's really what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps organize and make sure the right patients get the right things.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. It's like a vending machine.
It is. You just kind of like plug in and it like dispenses the medicine according to, I think they actually use scanners now to scan like the ID band, and it kind of goes into the, it's connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's all high tech.
Yeah.
Which a lot of it I wouldn't even know what to do
Yeah.
anymore because I have been out of it for so long.
Yeah. They keep changing things.
I've been reviewing medical records for a number of years now, so yeah.
Wow. So we got to avoid any HIPAA violations then tonight. We got to be careful. No.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll say the work I do, that is something that often comes up. I work for Department of Mental Health for the county. So yeah, sometimes, that's in IT, but on the back end sort of things. We got some that's on the mind all the time.
Right.
PII, HIPAA, all these different things. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything.
Just don't say anything. Yep. People have medical records. End of story.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Brianne. So you gave a great introduction earlier when you kind of gave us your little intro about this place, but I want us to take it back. When was the first time in your life that you heard about improv?
Probably as a teenager.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how were you exposed to it? Did you see it at school? Was it something on TV? Or
I watched Saturday Night Live a lot when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And it was the first cast that I was watching live on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it so badly, and I was extremely shy, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The shyness was really serious. With my friends and family, I could just be myself.
Yeah.
Be
It was easy.
spontaneous and wacky, but if I was supposed to go on a stage, or I kind of would be behind that person I would always be behind the people, kind of like saying, say this, say that, do this, do that. But I could not get out there and do it as a teenager, as a young adult. And then kind of life goes on.
You live,
and you kind of forget. And you get into, I got into my nursing career, and I in the back of my mind always longed for like comedy, basically performing some kind of comedy, and just never kind of didn't have the opportunity. I only moved here 5 years ago from New York.
Okay.
So I spent most of my life on Long Island. A lot of it was in New York City, working a full-time job, and then I have raising a daughter, and you just couldn't, like, it just didn't work out.
And your career, being a parent, like those things take priority.
And then just never lost that desire to do it.
It was still there. So you moved out here.
So I moved out here, and I didn't move out here to do comedy. I moved out here basically because it was something I always wanted to do, and it was the right time of my life, and my daughter came with me, and then then it was right before COVID that I moved out here. And I kind of was adjusting to a different, life out here.
It's very different.
After living my whole life, which was a long one, on Long Island, New York City, whatever, Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn and lived there for a little while. But I got a adult ed flyer in the mail here, like at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
I'm looking through it. I'm like, this is okay. Maybe this is how. Maybe I'll take a class.
Yeah.
This is how maybe I can meet people.
Yeah, it's a good way when moving somewhere, right?
Any kind of class. It wasn't in my mind. And then I saw stand-up comedy, and I was like, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And then, so I sign up. I'm so excited. I'm like a little kid. I can't wait. Every day I'm like, 3 more weeks. And then COVID hit, and everything was shut down, and they canceled the class. And you literally would have thought I was like a 5-year-old that was somebody took their toy away from them.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
And so after that, I believe a few months later, the teacher figured out a way to do it online. He had never done it on Zoom before, and so then he did the class on Zoom. So then, and now it's 2020 in the middle, right? And it's still going on. So I just kept taking the class. So I took his class. I took his stand-up class 2 times, and then I took his comedy writing class 2 times. So I took 4 of his classes in a row because there was nothing for us to do.
Yeah,
everything
it was COVID.
still So then, and we were doing our showcases on Zoom.
Yeah.
So that wasn't real.
It's not the same. Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to remember. So then he, after I had already taken his classes, and later on when he was doing other classes, he had somebody or a couple of people who couldn't do the showcase, and by now I had taken 4 of his classes. We were kind of friendly. So he emailed me and he said, I know you were so disappointed that you couldn't do it live. Would you want to do a set in one of my showcases?
Oh.
And by then, I wasn't doing any open mics. I wasn't really doing anything. I just kept writing, like little here and there. And then, so I did the showcase, and then I did the showcase again. And at one of the classes, there was one of those bookers, like those bookers for those kind of shows that, I guess they call them bringer shows.
Yeah.
And he was there, and he asked me if I wanted to do one of his shows. So then it went on, and then I met other people who introduced me to another club, and I started taking class. I've taken 11 stand-up classes.
That's fantastic.
And then now I'm in my 4th improv class. So I also feel kind of like people continue, like actors, they take classes all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right? And like other kind of performance professions, I guess, are always taking classes. So
musicians, dancers,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I just kind of felt like, all right, well, this isn't weird.
No, I don't think so at all.
To just keep taking classes, and I love taking classes.
Yeah.
So, so then I met a woman at the comedy club, that I took a class with, who was also taking classes here, and that's how I found out about
IFTP.
Improv. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, all right, I've been doing the stand-up thing. I've been taking classes. I've been writing. It sounds like you've been doing a good number of shows as well.
Yeah.
Just working that muscle, continuing to get up there. I mean, because that's the best way to get better is just continuing to do it, right?
Exactly.
Between classes and shows, like that's a really great way to develop yourself.
Yeah. And so I always wanted to do improv, and I just kind of, with going to stand-up classes, I didn't know where to go. Like there's a bunch of different schools here in Los Angeles. And so when I met that woman and she just raved about you guys, like I said, all right, let me try this year, and again, like I said before, I did it for the ability to be more spontaneous and more relaxed on stage, but there's so many other things that I've learned in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I want to circle back real quick to talk about, so you had mentioned how growing up, like you had always had this kind of passion or this desire to do comedy and to perform, but, kind of the shyness was holding you back. What do you think changed in you as an adult that kind of let you move past that? And, you know, now you're doing shows, you're doing classes, like all these different things. Like kid you could see adult you now, you know, doing these stand-up shows. You know, clearly there was a change. What was that?
Well, I think along the way, I've done a lot of kind of self work. I've done a lot of therapy.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
You know, programs, reading, a lot of reading, and a lot of therapy.
Yeah,
and I think with all of that, there just comes, hopefully, you know, we hope, right, when we're doing this kind of stuff,
yeah,
that like we're evolving and changing and growing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because then if we're not, it's like,
what's the point?
What the hell are we doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the journaling, how much journaling, right? Like, I also since I moved here, I also became a meditation teacher. I took in the middle of all of that, I took 2 6-month long, so I took a year, I guess, of meditation teacher training. And the meditation has really, really helped me tremendously. Like, I can't live without it now.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, just kind of a combination of all those things and kind of like, and not really, how should I say it? Kind of like feeling fear, like they say, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah. Because
you're going to have that. And I listen to a lot of podcasts of a lot of different professional comedians, like famous comedians. Everybody seems to say the same thing. Like, nobody's not afraid.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's nervous. Everybody's fearful for whatever they're fearful for, right? Of, rather. But everybody's kind of doing it. And I think that when you let it, which I did as a child, because I didn't know any better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're a kid.
And you let that control you, you know, then you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, then you don't.
Yeah, you miss out on things.
You miss out. You do. You miss out on a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I did miss out on a lot. But then I also have to say, it's okay because I'm doing it now. So, and you can't live in the past. You know, the past is written in stone. You can't change it. You can only just either learn from it or sit in your house and do nothing, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's really not a life.
Yeah, not at all.
So that's why I kind of feel like, you know, I was nervous. There's no preparation, you know. There's no notebook. There's no notes. There's no, you know,
nothing to study.
When the first class, I was like, I brought a notebook to my first class.
I mean,
I didn't take it out, but I had it in my bag because I was like, I don't know, it's a class.
Like,
I usually take notes, you know, and then, you know, Matthew was like, okay, you know, we have cubbies, let's use the cubbies. And I was like, oh my God, I got to put my stuff in there.
You're like, wait.
It's just me. It's just me, like, you know, and then and then you get comfortable with that.
Yeah.
As you do it. But you got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that first class, I mean, right off the bat, right? I got my notebook. I don't have my notebook. It's just me. Kind of what were your impressions of improv? How did it make you feel?
Well, from the very first class, I was hooked. I was hooked because I had never done it, and stand up is so much. It's so different, right?
Yeah.
You know, you really prepare yourself. And then, of course, if you're lucky, you have those moments that are improvisation and kind of go off a little off the rail, and like, you know, and it works. Yeah. But this is completely, you know, you are just, it's you. It's just you. And the first class, I kind of like, I loved the warm-up games in the beginning. I mean, besides performing and being funny and doing all the things, I actually think these are great mental brain exercises.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I kind of left that first night thinking, oh, my brain is like, we've got to work out.
Yeah.
Because of those different.
Yeah, it's stretching your memory.
It's a totally different part of your brain you're using, which I thought was amazing too.
Yeah.
But I also felt that it was a very warm and supportive environment.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody's in the same boat. We're all, unprepared. Other than the other thing that I learned right from the beginning, which it probably took me a good 2 months to feel this, but the feeling of being just trying to be present in the moment and not have the brain thinking, all right, what am I going to say next? What's my funny line going to be?
Yeah.
So many things I learned, but that was one thing that really I heard it the first night, but it took me a couple of months to really embody that feeling of just, that gray space, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just not prepared for anything and you just let it happen in the moment. And that's another kind of great way to be in life, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? Learning how to be present and listen. Listening. That's huge in improv, to listen. And to be like right there with your partner, like listening and again, not preparing a line, not thinking, what am I going to say? Should I say this? Should I say that? So those were things that I'm trying to use outside of improv too.
Yeah,
Because,
definitely.
Yeah,
the skills you learn here and in stand-up can be applied to so many other areas.
Yeah.
So I think, you've mentioned a couple things, but just in the, let's say, about 4 months that you've been here, right? Because April's almost over. How do you think you've grown as an improviser? In your gray spacing ability, but what else? Yeah.
Well, one thing just, learning how to just kind of breathe and be present.
Yeah.
And not have anything prepared, but also kind of waiting, pausing, taking some space, listening to my scene partner, completely, and not trying to kind of jump in there, I don't know if this is making any sense. But
it is making sense.
If you're saying something, to me, and I'm so excited that because I know I know where you're going, and I want to go there with you.
Yeah.
And I'm leaping a little bit. So one thing I've learned the last month is to back off a little and just let it marinate a little.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be all the time.
Right.
You can fully hear what they have to say, let them finish, and then you can respond,
Right.
instead of thinking of your response all the while they're talking. Yeah.
The other thing I think I've gotten a little bit better at is my physical comedy, my physical, and kind of, being I guess it's a little acting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
kind
it
of
is.
using the space and kind of thinking, okay, if we weren't sitting in chairs and we didn't have microphones and we didn't have, right, and our scene was we're doing a podcast together.
Yeah.
Kind of being there and kind of oh, this is the microphone.
Yeah.
Without it.
How you might act, you'd put on the headphones.
Right.
And
that kind of a.
Hello, we're here.
Right.
You'd still, put on a voice, things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of that, I think I've kind of gotten better.
Yeah.
Over the last probably month, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to say.
You can use that and feed it into your scenes.
Yeah.
And your body, is such a tool for improv because it's creating everything, right? It's creating the character that you are. It's helping you build the space around you,
Yeah.
whatever that
Yes.
is with your object work. It's you are the instrument when you're doing improv. There's
Right.
nothing else to help you besides your scene partner, right?
Right.
But nothing else physical in the room.
Right.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
that's the fun challenge of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that, those skills that you're continuing to pick up on and develop here, I imagine you've seen that too spill into your stand-up and maybe just your personal life as well.
Yeah. I think the stand-up is, I've gotten to do some cold opens for some shows now, and I feel like I'm using a little of this to, I do come with some prepared material.
Yeah, of course.
But then, I just feel like I'm more ready to kind of, I don't know, riff about what's happening or maybe what somebody else said, in my personal life, I just think I do it all the time in my personal life.
Yeah.
Like when I'm close to people, I'm kind of like, I'm wacky. Like I describe myself as a little wacky. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a serious side and then I have,
The wacky side.
my real side.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you
Which
can open
is-
up and you
Yeah.
feel a little loose, and just relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes sense. And I think you're just trying to tap into that you, the performer, right? You're like, I have this side of me. It's there. How can I bring that out when I'm on stage too?
Yeah.
And
I think also at in my personal life, I think I am kind of also waiting a little longer to respond to, because I think I have that. I think that's just my personality, is my tendency to kind of like jump in and I
yeah, I'm ready.
I
I'm
know
ready,
what
ready.
I know what I want to say. I know. I relate. I agree. This is what happened to me, and I have to kind of back off a little and
Yeah, slow down.
Yeah.
Wait a moment. Wait my turn. Fully take in whatever they're saying or whatever's going on. Yeah, definitely. That's something I still need to work on every now and then, especially in scenes. Because like you said, sometimes you're just excited. You just want to go.
Right.
But it's like, hey, let's build this together instead of getting in one another's way and causing each other to stumble over words and lines and things like that. Like word economy, right? How efficient you are with speaking to. That's a big one for me.
Word economy.
Yeah. Don't want to be too verbose with, what I'm trying to say in a scene. Can tone it back. I don't need to give a monologue every time I speak. It's not necessary. So think about, this is your 4th month of classes, you said.
Yes.
And you've got this, you've discovered a new passion, right? While doing improv here,
Yes.
right? You have this passion for stand-up that you've been honing and working on your craft for, sounds like a few years now, a number of years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then improv as well. So I think you can do both. I think there's room for both if you want. I mean, it's up to you ultimately, but
I think there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I know personally I have done both at times in the past. Stand-up, I think, isn't for me. I've decided long term. Like, I enjoy it. It was fun. Done a couple shows, but I'm like, it takes a special kind of person, and I am not that special kind of person. So I salute you for that, because the dedication and the guts to go out there on your own and just bear it all is that's scary. That's way scarier than improv to me.
It is scary, but it does get easier. I
Yeah.
feel like it has definitely gotten so much easier than in the beginning. Yeah. I mean, much easier.
Yeah.
Because I can see myself like in old videos, and it's actually funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see,
But-
I wouldn't do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like watching the tape. Yeah, you can see how you've grown, mistakes you used to make. Yeah.
Yeah.
With your writing process for stand-up, have you kind of thought about implementing anything you do in improv at all with that?
Into the writing?
Mm-hmm.
You mean things how do you mean?
Yeah. So that could be, maybe you had a scene in class that you were a part of that made you think of a funny idea.
Oh, yes.
Or maybe you're just sitting there and you give yourself a topic and you just rant off the top of your head about it. I mean, maybe you write it on the page, right? Yeah.
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 You found inspiration. Yeah, because there's inspiration everywhere.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always think of improv as just writing on your feet. There's just no pen and paper. Yeah.
Yes.
But you're doing the same thing, just all right there in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. I teach the sketch comedy class here at IFTP, and that's kind of a big part of the philosophy of the class is that we do improv first to kind of help us generate our ideas and, silly exercises like that. And then that's where we work from. Okay, we got up, we wrote things without judging it. We just did the scene. Whatever happened. Now what can we take from that, refine it, and polish it? And that's how I think of stand-up too, is like you have the funny premise and you have all the time to just make it the best that it can be. Yeah, and that's improv. It's just fast and loose. You don't get to do that. You just get up there and do it. It's funny. Sometimes it's not, but you keep going no matter what. I think can be such a fun distinction between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, what keeps both interesting. So kind of on a weekly or maybe monthly basis, how often are you performing stand-up?
Probably right now it's probably about once or twice a month.
Okay,
right
that's
now.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be more.
Yeah.
And I realize I have to start reaching out to get on shows.
Yeah, find those opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you need someone? Hey, I'm available. Or, ask a friend, another comic, a venue. Yeah, whatever that looks like.
So I did start doing that. So I got on something for May, and I'm doing these cold opens down in Santa Monica.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm in a couple of festivals in June.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Can I ask, what does the process look like of getting in a festival? Because I just don't know. So I'm curious.
You just kind of fill out a form and send in a tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you I did apply for one that I didn't get into. And then I got into these other two. One of them I was in last year, so I think they kind of give you a heads up for that.
They're like, hey, we know you. Yeah, come on in. Yeah.
And another one, I did a show for one of the producers of the group that is entered into the festival. So, but the one I applied for that, I think it was in New York. I didn't get into that.
They're missing out on a native New Yorker.
I know.
Yeah,
well,
that's their loss.
I also, I think you got to get a good tape. You got to really have a good tape because, and I don't, I'm not good. I don't have a lot of tech experience, like with posting on social media. So I have to get better at that. And, like editing tapes,
Yeah.
like, I think I could learn to do it do it.
Absolutely.
I have done it on my phone, but I know there's programs to use, and so, but it takes me, some time to do that.
Yeah. And I think the marketing aspect, is in addition to just honing the craft of doing stand-up, like the marketing yourself can be, there's a learning curve to that as well. Like you said,
there is.
You got to post on social media, you got to make clips, you got to have a full set, all of these different things you got to have available because it's, that's kind of the grind of it, right? If you're trying to work your way up and, get gigs and things like that, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. And it's time consuming. So, I still work full time.
Yeah.
And then I'm in classes and I'm trying to do shows.
Yeah.
And then social life? Wait, what's that?
Nah, not important.
No.
Not important.
No.
Daughter? You don't need to see her.
Well,
No.
she's an adult, so I do try to see them as much as see her. as much as possible.
I guess you should.
Yeah.
Does she come to your shows?
Her and her boyfriend come to my shows
amazing.
whenever they can.
Yeah.
So they've seen a lot of them. They've seen kind of the progression too. So
that's really cool.
And I feel like I get honest feedback from them.
Yeah, it's someone you can trust.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not somebody just, oh yeah, you were great.
Yeah, you were great.
No, they're like, no, well, and my brother lives here too, so he'll come and he'll give me really honest feedback. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Like you got family involved and they can help kind of shape everything that you're doing. Yeah, because that's sometimes you don't have that, and it's just you watching the tape, and then people say something to your face, and you're like, I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good or bad.
Exactly. And I am a person who wants the honest feedback.
Yeah, because that's how you're going to get better.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not in the thing working at it, trying to get better, then I guess why are you doing it?
Exactly.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So do you have like a tight 5 you usually stick with, or you kind of keep it loose, swap things in and out?
I keep it loose and swap things in and
that.
out.
I like that.
I know, but I feel like I have to get like really
that one main thing that's
more.
polished. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
I was always very much like I'd kind of write it out, but just sort of the loose beats of everything, not word for word.
Oh.
And I try and stick with that because I was like, I don't know. I think I might shotgun it and throw in a bunch of random things and it's not going to flow at all. And then I'll sound like Jerry Seinfeld, but bad, it's just like, oh, what about, what's the deal with, just.
You mean on the spot? Trying to think of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's hard.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. But that polish, takes time.
I feel like I did a 15-minute show.
Wow. 15.
I have a lot of material. It's hard to work on it all in 5-minute open mics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of say, all right, you have to plan it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't have time to plan it. So then I'll go up and just, kind of do the bits that are on the top of my head, or I'll try new stuff that I just wrote.
Yeah.
Like last week I got there a little early and I wrote a bit in the car, and then I kind of tried to work on that.
Yeah.
So, but then you don't hone your really good stuff if you keep doing that.
Yeah, because you keep trying new things, see what sticks, and then you might not come back to it for a while or ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, 15 minutes though. I think the most I've done is like 7 minutes. So,
Yeah.
a little more than double that. Yeah.
It was good though because you actually got to slow down a little.
Yeah, I mean you're sitting in it. Yeah.
And kind of it felt really good, the show that I did for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because you think about, those specials, like the standard, right, is like 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. I don't know how they do that.
That's a lot of time. Like I do a podcast, but I'm the host. I make everyone else talk, like that's how that works. But 60 minutes of time, I guess when put under a microscope, we could all come up with something to say, but to make it good for 60 minutes, it's art. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a goal you have, you think?
I think so. I think so. I think I've written I have like 3 notebooks worth of. Is it all good? No, probably not.
It doesn't have to be.
But it needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I need to go back and work on sections, and I started one of the teachers showed me how a spreadsheet that they made to list all your jokes, list the time of how much time each one.
Oh wow, that's
takes,
very organized.
The topics, the themes. So, and then to put the actual joke in there somewhere. I don't know how that would work, but it's a great thing to see at a glance. Instead of paging through notebooks looking for things. Yeah. But I still have to work on that, to keep adding to that.
Yeah.
And then say, all right, let me work on this theme right now, right? And then take that section and work on that.
Yeah. Yeah, all
goals.
I'm a big spreadsheet guy. I like spreadsheets, but I've never thought about applying it to writing in that way. But it would help you be really organized. Be able to find what was I thinking about. You could search it up because I like usually pen to paper. Something physical in my hands.
I do too.
And just kind of dump onto that, and hopefully get out my thoughts. Good, bad, funny, not funny, whatever that is first.
Exactly.
And then figure out if there's anything in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe later you can go put it in a spreadsheet and then refine it, work it, time it. Because that could be really useful. You can be like, okay, take this, these 3 things. Boom, we got a nice 5-minute set. All right, let's go to the mic tonight.
That's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Is to say, all right, I have a 7-minute set. And if you had all your jokes timed out, and of course it's like, it's not to the second, but maybe it's to 1 or 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
You're that close. To pick out, okay, if this is a theme, or if I have 7 minutes, I probably could do 2 or 3 themes.
Yeah.
Right? Like 3 minutes, you really can't do a lot of themes because your audience is kind of like, what's happening?
They
here?
barely
She's
settle
talking.
in, and then you're
Yes.
done.
So I think the purpose of it is so you can look at your jokes and say, all right, I got like a 2 minute, a 3 minute, a 1 minute. Okay, and then, leave some time for,
Something that comes up.
uproarious laughter that you're going to get.
Yeah, ideally.
Ideally, yeah, exactly.
Again, I'll pause for laughter here.
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah.
I've had
Think
that
positive.
before. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna kill. Yeah.
Right. Right.
That's what you got to say.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta ask: Have you ever bombed before?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Would you say it's a good thing to have that experience?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have to because it's going to happen. It happens to every.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to every person.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen, and then, the best thing to do is to just go to an open mic the next day and just keep going, like they say, right?
Yeah.
Get back on the horse. Like you just keep going. If this is what you want to do,
Yeah. That won't stop you.
right?
Yeah.
I have like literally blacked out not blacked out, but like blacked.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Blanked
Yeah.
out.
Blanked. Yeah.
And in the middle of a show. And a friend of mine who knew what my next joke was yelled it out to me from the audience.
That's a good friend.
Yes. And then I said, and I kind of just then made a joke out of that.
Yeah. Oh, what are you stealing my set? Yeah.
Yeah, I was
keep
like,
going.
"Oh, that's right. Thanks a lot." And I'm like, I'm old. It's late. I'm tired. It's like 10:30 at night on a weeknight. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want from me?
Yeah.
And
And the audiences are gonna love that because it's real too.
Yeah, and then another time I had a panic attack, and kind of just stood there like just saying the lines that I had rehearsed with no feeling.
Yeah. Just getting through.
And
it.
that didn't go well
Yeah.
either. So yeah, and then, but they're learning experiences.
Yeah. Because then
They are.
afterwards you can go, wow, okay, well, I know what happened. I know what went wrong there.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially when you have videos too, you can look and see like you can look back at yourself and say,
Yeah.
try to remember how you were feeling in that moment as you're watching it on a video, and kind of learn like, okay, when I was in that moment, this is what I think I was going through or feeling or anything. It's just all learning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn something from every open mic, every show, everything.
Yeah.
Just learn something.
Yeah.
And not just learn something about comedy or performing, but learn like something about myself. And I think that's like your question before about how did it change from when I was an adult, from when I was a child to an adult. I think I'm just constantly trying to learn something,
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, I did a show. What can I learn from this class? What can I take away?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself after the classes here, kind of on that drive
Yes.
back, you're just kind of thinking through everything?
Yes.
Those are some of my favorite drives. Yeah.
Yes.
Just coming home and be like, okay, so what, the first thing we did, it was, we did this scene. I was a cowboy, or like whatever that was. And you just think through it. What worked, what didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that reflection, I think that's how you get better.
Yeah,
right?
I do that all the time after everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I wish we could record ourselves doing it. I don't know. Improv. Because that's something I never get to see. Like stand up, I've seen myself do, and some other, performing things I've done, but never improv.
Oh,
Never really seen a
improv.
recording. Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. No.
I mean, I
But
think it's probably,
Yeah.
it probably would be a lot of
Yeah.
fun to look at, though.
Yeah. Be like, why'd I ask a question there? One of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good way to learn. I mean, if you think about it, right, that's what athletes do. Like
Exactly.
they have a game and then the
then they
whole
watch-
week. Yeah, they watch
They watch
their
the
opponent's
tapes.
film, they watch their film, and then they go, what do we know from watching this?
Yeah.
The best coaches, they watch film, It's
Exactly.
So why not the best comedians?
Yeah.
Same thing. Man,
Exactly.
I like your approach, Brian. And I just think it's kind of badass what you do. Stand up and just
Thanks.
you've been plugging at it, and you're like, it's not like I've been doing this for 2 months. You've put in the work.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to stick with. So I got a lot of respect for you for doing that. Yeah.
Thanks.
So thinking about with kind of bringing it back to improv and, stand up too, of course, because I think they very much go hand in hand and they're complementary to one another. I don't see them as competing. They're two different things, but the skills cross over. So looking ahead at let's say the next year, right? It's April. We still got a lot more year ahead of us than we do behind us. What are some of the things you're hoping to try or accomplish or achieve maybe within improv, within stand-up, or in another creative area?
Well, I did tell Matthew that at some point I'd love to be in an improv show. I just want to keep taking the classes and just trying to get better at it.
Yeah.
And then stand up, I've got some things I'm working on with some people.
You got a big month in June.
Yes, I got several shows. And then I would like to carve out more time for writing because I do love the writing when I have the time.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but when you have a full-time job, and I'm not complaining about it, believe me, I'm not. I'm very grateful. But for me, my process, I'm kind of always writing something in my head.
Yeah.
But to sit down and actually get it out on paper, for me, I feel like I need a span of at least 3 to 4 hours, and I sometimes don't have that. So I do a lot of it on the weekend mornings, if I have time. I did sign up for the sketch writing class.
Oh, that's good to know.
I did.
Right. Well, we started in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah, I can't remember the first day. It's the 15th, I think.
It is.
Okay, all right. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you in the class, Brian.
I'm very excited.
Bring some ideas in that first day. Bring something from your stand-up. We'll chop it up. We'll put it on stage. We'll improvise it. Yeah, right then and there. Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
I'm really excited too.
Yeah.
That's going to be a ton of fun. I'm excited to see what you bring to the table. And you got to be ready to memorize. You got to be ready to put on some props, costumes.
I know.
It's going to be.
I know.
It's going to be a lot of work, but it is incredibly rewarding. I think we've done it 4 times now over the past few years, and everyone gets very stressed, but they're always, by the end of it, they're like, "I'm really glad we did that. We pulled it off." You feel like you got away with something. And that's my favorite feeling in performance. It's like, wow, we just pulled the greatest heist in the world. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm excited about
All
that.
right. Well, you'll be doing some writing then. Some more writing in addition to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do a little in class, but it's mostly I give you homework and then you're going to go do your thing and bring it back. And we're going to talk about it, see where we're at. And then we'll turn it into a show and perform it. 2 shows, I think. We're doing 2 this year. Yeah.
I saw that.
Double Saturday. We've never done that before. So some new things on my plate I got to think about logistically. But I got a few weeks to figure that out. Oh, man. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm very excited.
It's my favorite thing I get to do here. So it's wow. And I'm just, now that I've gotten to meet you and speak with you for a little bit. Oh, man. Okay. I'm looking forward to it, Brian. Oh, man. Okay. So my last question for you, and then I think we'll do a little bit of improv here.
All right.
All right. Yeah, just a one game. My last question for you. What do you think thus far has been, I guess, the impact, we're going to say, of both stand-up and improv on your life?
The impact.
It's a big question.
I know. I kind of feel like I'm finally getting to do something that I've always wanted to do, right? And I also feel like it's never too late to do the things that you really want to do.
Yeah.
So I feel really happy and grateful that I'm able to do this now. And I kind of at times say, oh, and this is, I guess, if you don't edit this part out, but for people that watch this and feel like it's too late, I'm too old, it's, my whatever has passed. Yeah. I've heard this, and I heard it, and I kind of say, okay, I can do that. That it's not. You're going to live the life anyway.
Yeah.
You might as well be doing what you want to do. That's going to make you happy, and that and it's kind of like. It's jokes, it's fun, it's comedy, it's performing, it's, is it serving a purpose? I hope so. I hope I'm able to make someone, even if and this is kind of maybe like corny or whatever, but like if I make one person laugh, like when I see someone laugh, like I kind of get like I said in the beginning, like I'm addicted to the improv. I'm kind of getting addicted to stand-up comedy. I've always, my whole life, whether I was doing it in the living room for my parents and my family, just always loved making people laugh because life is hard, right? We know, I'm not even going to get into it right now, but life is really hard. Everyone's got stuff, right, that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whatever degree it is. I feel like I'm not, and I don't do politics in my comedy, and I don't do like pop culture and everything. That's not my role. My role, I feel, is to tell stories and make people laugh and maybe kind of make them laugh at themselves or look at themselves a little lighter or look at life a little lighter for the moments that they're in my presence. And that's really, and I'm grateful that I have the courage to do it now because I didn't as a younger person.
Yeah.
And so that's me.
Yeah. Just when you said you're going to live the life anyway. Yeah.
Gonna live the life anyway.
So you're going to go for the thing you want or what?
Yeah. If you want to go to school for something, if you want to go take tap classes, if you want to take juggling classes, clown classes, learn to be a lawyer, who's to say you're too old to do something or it's too late to do it? No, it's not. Just do it. Just do it. And and if somebody doesn't like it, too bad.
Too bad. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's my New York coming out, but that's the way I think now.
But it's a fantastic mindset, and that's it. This is the one we got. So
right, it's it. This is it.
What are you gonna do?
This is it.
Yeah, you're gonna sit there and be sad about it. Let it pass by and go. Well, I never did that thing I liked or was interested in, or you're gonna at least try.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can also just very much relate to, if I just make one person laugh, then I brought a little bit of joy to somebody. And that's
amazing.
That's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. That's, we're going to write that, print it, quote card, create a mural. Boom. You're going to live the life anyway.
I'm just telling jokes. I'm just,
and truth. Jokes and truth. So I'm going to give you that right there. All right, Brianne. You ready to do some improv?
Okay.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Okay, this one, you've maybe done this one in class before.
All right.
It's easy.
All right.
So this game is called Last Letter, First Word. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I'll break it down.
Yes.
Right. So we'll start a scene.
Yes.
Say I give the first line, whatever the last letter of my line is, right? The first word of your next line has to start with that letter.
The last word of your line.
Yeah.
First letter of my line. My line. First letter word of my line. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So if I say, wow, I love bananas.
Bet you do.
Yep. Okay. There we go. All right. And to get us started, I'll give us a location.
Okay.
So we are at Target. We're at Target.
All right.
Yeah. And Brianne, can you start us off with the first line? I'll black us out when we're done.
Okay. I'm looking for socks and blister Band-Aids.
Blister Band-Aids. Oh, I'm so sorry. They're sold out, with the with that sickness going around. Everybody's got blisters,
No, I don't know because it's Target. You should have a slew.
Suppose that's true. We are Target, the biggest brick and mortar warehouse around. But, ma'am, I got to tell you, you can't see it, but my body is covered in blisters right now. Blisters and blister pack bandages. I'm itching.
I see you're itching. Maybe you need some hydrocortisone cream.
Can't say I've tried that yet. I'm a little wary about all these methods to treat these blisters, so I just throw on the Band-Aid and wait it out. It's not going well.
Why don't you go over to the Quaker oatmeal section, get a large package of oatmeal, go home, and soak in the tub, in the oatmeal.
Okay, oatmeal is for eating, but I've never thought of that before. Okay, I think it's a good suggestion. Would I need to put raisins in the bath as well?
Won't raisins irritate it even further? Oh, that's a question.
Frankly, they might irritate the disease. They're full of sugar. Thank you for your advice. And I'm sorry I never told you where the socks were. Those are also sold out.
Ouch. I don't know what I'm going to do with these blisters, with no new socks, no Band-Aids. I might have to go to the oatmeal section because I don't see any other way to feel better.
Beats me. With socks and blister Band-Aids with the sickness that's going around right now, that's what everybody's buying. But it sounds like, you've got an alternative. Now, when I take the oatmeal bath, I plan on eating some as well while I'm in there.
That would be ridiculous.
Really? I think I'm going to be a little hungry. Oatmeal's my favorite food.
Forgive me if I am misunderstanding, but if you're sitting in the oatmeal, I guess it's convenient. You're sitting right in there. You could just have a spoon, start digging in. I don't know. Personally, I couldn't do it.
I think you're wrong, but I respect your opinion. To each their own oatmeal, I guess. One question. You must have the blister sickness too.
That's right. I do have the blister sickness. I think it's going around.
All day, every day. Folks have been coming in this store itching and scratching. I'm out of time off, so that's why I'm working today.
That makes me think that's why you're out of blister Band-Aids and socks I think I'm going to go to Costco.
Blackout. How dare you go to a competitor store?
Oh, that was, I couldn't think of anything.
I said one question, then I was like, wow.
I asked a question too.
Yeah. The thing with questions, here's the thing, right? It's like questions can sometimes push the scene along. You know, it's
Right.
like know the rule, break the rule.
Right.
But it's like if you're asking a question of further information, I think it can be okay.
I sometimes slip into the asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
And then I also have to remember the yes and, because I also will say like, what do you mean? You know, like, no, like, you know, so I have to remember that too.
Yeah.
But then I try not to have to think too much about the rules, because then that takes me back into my
Yeah,
head.
and you have so much else going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to be present in the moment with your scene partner.
Right.
Yeah. That's the balance of improv.
Right.
It's know this subconsciously and be here for what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brianne. Before we close out this episode of Improv for the Podcast, any last words you want to leave us with tonight?
No, thank you so much though for having me on.
Yeah,
It's really
absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
Something I've never done before, so
There you
it's
go.
a new thing.
Stand up,
Yeah.
check. Improv,
Yeah.
check. Podcast, check. Sketch, check. You know, hopefully soon, improv show, check.
Just saying yes.
Just saying yes. Yeah. Say yes to the
Thanks.
opportunities and see what comes with them.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Brianne, for coming on the show tonight. As always, with Improv for the Podcast, find us anywhere podcasts are streaming. And we'll be back next time with another great interview. But until then,
Bye.
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 Improv for the Podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.